Hello and welcome to On My Radar. I'm your host, Roshan Isaacs.
There's always a plan or there's always a change. You can always do something. You've got knowledge, you've got the skill. It's what you do with that knowledge and skill. It's not just about offering the product, but also offering your own talents and your own skill as well. And that is exactly what this conversation is all about, okay? Because I believe in this model of, I have this business called Drawn to It, and it's all about what you are drawn to. You don't even realize it, but it's something that you sort of magnetically are always drawn to, and you don't realize it, but you're always sort of following that same path. But in order to see it come into fruition or to become a career or to become something that you actually, evolve your life around, you need two things. It's passion and skill. So you obviously realize at some point in your life that you were drawn to become a designer. When did you realize this?
I think for me everything is flowing organically. I think I was born in the family that love art and painting. That I still remember when I was 3 years old, my mom always gave me this pencils, and then I started drawing, and I really into painting and art. Yeah, I think from 3 years old. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so that explains the beauty and the intricacy of your work. Because from 3 years old to where you are now, it's made a big difference. Unless you were just naturally talented at 3.
Yeah, and then and then I think my first fashion institution were starting at home, because I always saw my late grandma, the way she mix and match what she wear, and then with the traditional Indonesian blouse called kebaya, and then she mixed that with the batik, with the sarong, with the ikat, and then the way she mix and match it, and then the way she dress herself is, I think it's like the first thing that drawn me to fashion.
That's crazy, because if I look at my fashion background, it's almost the same. My dad was a fashion designer, so I don't know if your house looked anything like mine, but there was always cardboard, scissors, material all around. Yeah, so it's amazing where we get that inspiration from, and what we are surrounded by always inspires us. So at some point you already gathered that talent, and you were building on the skill at such a young age. When did you realize that this was what you wanted to study?
Okay, so well, like the funny thing was, I've never took fashion as my formal study. So when I grow up, I have more interest also in technique and more structured studies. So I was taking architecture, but I've never been an architect. And then after graduating from architecture, and then I worked for this media and television company, where I broadened my network. And then after that, I worked for this fashion retail company. And then I think that was the moment when it drew me back to, and it reminds me how passionate I am with fashion. I think that's also the trigger that lit up the fire within me for me to go back to fashion. So I think back in 2010, when that moment I have I've worked in a fashion company for 7 years, and then I started to, I think that was a call for me, that I want to contribute myself more to elevate Indonesian traditional textile through fashion, because at that pace, I think I know what I can do, and then I know that my skill in fashion is elevate, and then I think I know what's the taste of Indonesians like. And I think there was this opportunity, a big opportunity for entrance the market. And then with this new form of ready to wear, but using Indonesian textile, that was, you know, like quite new, because at that moment every young Indonesian doesn't relate with that textile. They thought that this textile is only for the mom and pop, you know. So we came with a new concept, that's where I get all my friends and my celebrity friends to support the movement, because I always passionate about fashion and Indonesian textile, but at some point I also want to introduce the artisans, the weaver, and then I think this is a good moment for not only creating a beautiful product, but I also introducing how the textiles were being made and who's making it. So, you know, like we were trying to cover all these aspects, and then within several years with this marketing strategy, and then the how we can engage with the community, and then how we can build this movement of proud wearing local textiles. It's getting bigger and bigger, and we got a lot of support from the audience and also from the government.
And that's beautiful, because you're carrying on that tradition and becomes a legacy part of, you know, the culture of Indonesia. Wherever I visit, in any case, I'm always interested in the textiles of that country. And when I look at your garments, they are exquisite. And talent is something that comes, yes, to people naturally. It's a natural talent. But there's also a gift that you have when you design. And I think that's something that every designer has, because you're putting your unique identity into that garment. So explain what you offer the person who wears ICAT.
So what came up?
Sorry,
Ikat.
Does it have a meaning?
Yeah, ikat, it's mean to weave. Mengikat, it's like binding. It's like binding, because it's the technique of making the color processing of how you can create the pattern is through the color binding. So what we're offering is I want to introduce not only the creation, but also the meaning behind the pattern, because what makes it interesting is there's always a story behind the pattern, and then it's also a good way for us to introduce the culture through the fashion platform. Yeah,
you've used those abilities and you've created such stunning garments. Well, how would you encourage other people, other designers, young entrepreneurs that you work with?
Yeah. So recently I always create this workshop, and then I also try to introduce the culture through all my social media platform. And then whenever I post about something, I try to share about what I feel about this technique. And then I also introducing the pattern or the name behind, or who is weaving it. I think by doing this, so the younger generations and the new designers, they can be inspired with what you do, and then hopefully that we together we can preserve this culture. Because for me, I always love to collaborate, and then for me, I think for the past decade we have come to this collaboration era and not the competition era, you know. And then the way I see this culture is not only for Indonesian culture, but I also invited by different countries such as Malaysia and India for sharing the passion, because in Asia we have this, you know, like similar culture and roots. So I think it's not only we're talking about how to preserve Indonesian culture, but it is about how to preserve the world culture, because we are unity. We're everywhere. We are trying to preserve what we have. So yeah, I think this diversity creating a beautiful message to all of us. So I think at some point, whatever you do, what you need to have is the knowledge about how to be a good leader, because you will need it. At least if you don't have any team or any staff yet, you have to lead yourself, so you know where to go to, because this is the time where anxiety is attack you every moment. So you know, like you just have to be your own, the driver of yourself, and you have to use your passion as your fuel to drive your car and or your brand to get to the vision or to reach the destination, the goal that you want to achieve. Yeah.
And I love how you've evolved, because if you look at that 3-year-old who was inspired to do architecture or paint, architecture and design, and you were the student all the time, and now you've evolved to become the teacher. So it's really become full circle. It's like, okay, the next Didiet is coming along.
I know.
With the people that we learn or we come across in our lives, you know, we never know if we're there as the students or if we are there in their lives as a teacher. And passing on knowledge in this stage of life, in terms of during this pandemic, is so important, because people are looking at becoming self-sustainable.
Yeah, so I remember this Chinese proverb. It says, give a man a fish and you can feed him for a day, but give a man a knowledge how to fish, then you will feed him for a lifetime. So I think that's the power of knowledge, and how and what happened when you share your knowledge. And I think after I, you know, like all the combination between passion and the talent and the skill, it reached me to this, the fourth, which is purpose. So I think recently I also realized what my purpose is, which is to share not only the knowledge that I have, but also sharing through my platform, because with the, you know, like I always love to promote the Indonesian creative brand through my platform, and then like matchmaking between the brands and then the audience, you know, or the customers. So yeah, I think what happened with me within this pandemic, and then within this I think for the years that I've lived, is I realized that my purpose of life is to share. Yeah. Yeah, there's no such thing as coincidence. So I think what happened in my life, all the process in my life has been, you know, like sum up everything that now I created. Yeah.
Thanks so much, Didiet, for making time. And keep well, and I hope we connect again sometime.
Of course. Bye.
Bye-bye.
I'm Didiet from Indonesia, and this is On My Radar with Roshan.